Hey guys, I got something I want to show you. This is a Daisy model 25. It is about a 1960 model, based on the patent number that's on it and some of the markings and the type of stock it has, which actually has a plastic stock, not a wooden stock. One of the cool things about this gun is that it was mine when I was a kid, and it was actually my dad's. Another one of those heirloom things that I've held on to. My little boy's getting old enough now to where he would like to shoot it, and so I've decided to get it out and get it working right. The problem that it has is the gas piston, which is in the body here somewhere, has little seals on it, and they've pretty much given out. And the way you actually cock this gun is you kind of like an old pump shotgun. Pull it down, it compresses the spring back up again, and then you shoot it. Now this doesn't have any power at all. It's very, very weak. You can almost see the BB flying out of the barrel and landing on the ground 20 feet ahead of you. So we're gonna take it apart and try to fix it. Fortunately, there's still people out there that make the parts for this gun. I think Daisy's actually started reproducing them. Of course, they're the new version of the 25, not the old ones like this one. And I've actually lost the trigger spring, and so the one I've got in it now is something I came up with, but I did actually get the correct trigger spring for it, so I'm probably going to install that too. Show you something else cool about it. The way you load it, you unscrew this guy here, and this is actually your magazine that holds your BBs. See if you guys can see that. And you take the little spring here, slide it back, tilt it over, and then you load the BBs into that hole right here. And then of course they slide down into the magazine, and I think it'll hold about 50. One of the cool things about this gun is, from what I understand, they actually had a higher feet per second than the more popular Red Ryder style lever action gun, because you could put a stronger spring in it because of the way that your action worked. This is the only challenge, especially for a little kid. This is the fun part, is trying to figure out how to get that guy lined back up with the gas port down in the bottom of the cylinder here. But because it takes a lot more strength and effort to cock this gun than, say, the lever action style, and I think that's why it was a much more powerful gun. But for it's a BB gun, it's still for plinking and shooting targets. We're gonna take it apart and see if we can't get this guy to where it'll pop off like it should. There you go. That's how you slide that guy out. Once you've got the slide, have its little catch right here. Very carefully slide the entire assembly out. Now you do still have some spring-loaded deal going on here. I'll show you how to get that apart once you get this completely out. once you get the assembly out of the barrel, take you a big fat screwdriver. You got a little spot right here. That puts a little bit of, pulls this back, keeps that forward, so you're actually pulling your spring in. That gets enough pressure where you can get this pin out. You kind of work it a little bit there. And see, the little roll pin just fell out on the table. Don't lose that, by the way. And while it's still in there, be careful not to let it go off on you, because you can end up hurting yourself. This is kind of the tricky part. Then you can pull the guy loose. There you go. And if you slide this guy up, it will actually catch. Ouch, or it won't catch and get your finger. But either way, there you go. Now to put it back together, you can actually take and start it by pushing it in and catching it, so you can start reassembling it, but we'll cover that when we put it all back together. Okay, so to explain to you what I got, this is the old seal I pushed out. I could see down in the barrel that, you know, this part was facing towards the gas piston. This part was up against the. There's if you look real close, there's a couple of divots here. Probably, I'm guessing those might be little arc welds where they've got a little metal sleeve in here that has the threads on it that this guy right here screws into. It could be farther down, but either way, it's in here somewhere, so right about there probably. I can't really tell for sure. Anyway, there's a metal sleeve in here that's got your threaded part, and right behind that metal sleeve is where that rubber O-ring goes. And all I had to do to push it out was, I happen to have a really long handle screwdriver that I use to push it out with, and then I have a long extension, 3/8 extension, that I just took it, and once I shot a little liquid wrench in there to allow it to slide easier, and then just run it up in there, and then it butts up against the your little the metal part, I guess you could say. And then that's how I got it in there. So it really wasn't, that was fairly easy to install, and it's not going to fall out. I don't see it moving. It was a pretty tight snug fit to shove it in there. So that's that part. So I'm going to continue to put the other parts on the other half, and then I'll have the seals replaced. And this assembly here is not too hard to figure out, since there's no tension on the spring right now. Just pull that pin out. There you go. There's your washer. If you look close, you can really tell the difference in how deformed and collapsed this wall is on this one versus that. This has got a lot more spread to it. Not to make a big difference in the performance of the gun. We shall see. Here we go. It allows me to get that in there. Put the pin in. Once you got that, there you go. Reassembled. My next special tool is it's a kind of a thin coat hanger, real cheap one, but it is small enough to fit into the shot tube there, just enough to act as a guide. So when I run it up into here, I'll get it through the seal without, because you see how it's kind of sitting cattywampus a little bit. It's going to not want to go through the hole when I push it up in the barrel. Help it slide a little easier. There we go. It's just sliding. I still have my coat hanger keeping the gas tube in the right position, so it should slide right in there and not give me any trouble. That slot's got to line up with that guy right there. Alright, now you got a little gate. You can kind of see it. It's not quite there, but when you just a little bit more movement, you'll be able to push this guy into here. Let's see what I'm talking about here. There. You hold it, get a little tension on it, slide a little lock in, give a little love tap, and there you go. That part's done. And you take this little guy, a little bit of upward motion, it should slide in, and so it dropped in there. I went ahead and put the trigger mechanism or trigger assembly back together off camera because it was a challenge. I had lost the spring trigger years ago. I never realized it was gone. So of course I had no idea how it went back in. So it took me a while to figure it out. It is not the easiest spring trigger assembly to put back together. So I'm going to tell you what I did. I'm not going to show you because it is that aggravating. But I will show you where the spring went. The end of it is sitting right here, and what you do is it wedges against the back of the spring. There's a hammer on the spring trigger, this little guy right here, and it sets up in here, and you can barely see it. It's right here. Anyway, so it wedges. It kind of, if you were to look at it through the side of the gun, it basically wedges this way and back up behind the spring trigger, or behind the trigger, and you have to take it and basically kind of get it started and shove it back in here, and it wedges itself right in there. That's how you have to install it. That's how I got it in. I literally took it with this pick. I got hold of the spring part and just kind of worked it in here, and then finished pushing it in with a screwdriver. And once it got in there, now you can see it actually moving. Well guys, this is the finished gun. I decided not to try to reblue it or anything like that, because I kind of like the fact that it's an old gun, you know. It's best I can figure. It's a 1960s model, and it's all here. It's complete. What was missing, like the trigger spring, I replaced it, or found another one, got it installed. It works great. I'm looking forward to sitting down with my little boy and helping him shoot it some and do some target shooting, and you know, do like my dad did with me with this exact same gun. So it definitely has a little more kick than it had. A little bit more. Not a lot more, actually. All right, buddy. Come here. I'll tell you something. This was your granddaddy, Papa. That's his BB gun when he was a little boy. And you know what he did when I was a little boy?
Oh.
He gave it to me, so I could shoot it. And now I'm giving it to you.
So I can shoot?
Yes. Now until you get older, you can't shoot it by yourself. You always have to shoot it with your daddy. Let me show you how you cock it.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to take it, pull this handle down right here,
And down the cock.
and push it all the way down, like just click.
And then I shoot it. And
Alright, now.
Cock.
Now I want you to try and cock it. Now you're probably going to have to take both hands and pull it down like this. Okay. Ready? Let's go. Pull down. Alright. So this is why Daddy's going to have to help you. Now, this is how we're going to do it. Put it in your shoulder. And this finger pulls the trigger, but don't pull it yet. Okay, now, put it in the shoulder, like that. Put this hand out here, reach farther out. There we go, just like that. Now look through this right here and line that sight up on the other end. When you think you got it on that black dot, pull the trigger.